Hello, welcome to this session of Talking Tech Women and Girls in ICT. My name is Marina, and today I'm delighted to be representing Smith School of Business at Queen's University, and I'm excited to be having a discussion about tech and tech careers with Annika Thakrar, Business Solutions Lead for Customer Success at SAP. Talking Tech is a series celebrating girls and women in tech being recorded around the world between Grossing ICT Day 2020 and Grossing ICT Day 2022. Grossing ICT Day is an international day marked on the fourth Thursday of each April. In 2021, Grossing ICT Day was held on 22nd April. The objectives of Grossing ICT Day are to help to create a global environment that empowers and encourages girls and young women to consider studies and careers in the growing field of information and communication technologies. The Talking Tech series is brought to you by the ITU, UNICC, and the Office of UN Secretary General's Envoy on Youth, and is in support of Equals, the global partnership for gender equality in the digital age. Queen's is pleased to be a partner on this session today. The goals of the series include to interest and inspire girls and younger women with information about a range of ICT careers that can be had, bring before a broader audience some of the role model women in tech, and share information about their career journeys and work. Offer diverse examples of how ICT is being used to support achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals and other UN goals. Showcase initiatives that are working with girls to support them in ICT studies or future ICT careers. Provide girls and young women in tech with a leadership opportunity to represent and promote a girls in ICT organization with which they are involved and promoted to a broader international audience. To kick this session off, I'm going to introduce you to Queen's University. Queen's University is highly ranked in Canada for student experience, taking an inclusive approach and offering learning beyond the classroom. As a commerce student at Queen's, I have had the opportunity to join some technology-related clubs while having exposure to marketing, managerial statistics, and digital business courses. In 2020, Queen's University and Elspark, Canada's leading SaaS accelerator, launched a Compass Notes program for Kingston area technology businesses run by women to build capacity in the entrepreneurship ecosystem for women. Overall, a more gender-balanced tech sector is something that I'm passionate about and working towards. So I'm delighted to now shift to a conversation with Annika Thakrar, Business Solutions Lead for Customer Success at SAP. Hi, Annika. Glad to meet you. Could you please describe when and how did you get into technology?
Yeah, of course. And thank you to ITU for this opportunity to discuss women in IT. So I got into technology in quite a roundabout way, to be honest. So I studied French and Spanish at university, and that included a year abroad. So it was a 4-year degree, and I did, on my year abroad, I spent 6 months working at a law firm in Paris and another 6 months at university in Madrid. And I finished off my year abroad with a month volunteering in Madagascar. And actually during one of my kind of summer breaks from university, I did a month-long internship at SAP UK, and that was in their HR department. So it was my first experience, kind of real work experience. And once I graduated, I went back to SAP and worked back in the HR department as a HR operations manager. I was reporting to the HR director, and I think my first kind of experience with technology in that role was that my director wanted to present some key statistics about the UK employee base to the board, and she was using about a 10-slide PowerPoint to present that. And so I ended up created a dashboard using SAP technology to build the dashboard myself. That experience sparked my interest in technology and how it could solve business problems. And actually, I was very fortunate because the HR director that I worked for knew that I didn't want to stay in HR. So she kindly introduced me to people that worked in different business areas. So one person in sales, one in pre-sales, one in consulting, one in marketing, value engineering. And I went and had 30-minute conversations with each of those people to try and understand a bit more about what their role encompassed, how it interacted with technology. And following that, I actually moved into a pre-sales solution consulting role. So presenting and positioning SAP's HR solutions to our prospective customers. And it made sense for me to focus on HR because I'd had almost 2 years of experience working in HR. And since then at SAP, I've been really fortunate because SAP is quite focused on career development. So I've been lucky enough to do a couple of fellowship positions where I've taken time out of my role and done a 9-month fellowship. So one I did in global HR, and another I did as a business analyst supporting a president of one of the bigger solution areas at SAP. So I've had quite a varied journey into technology, not necessarily planned, but I've stuck around since then. So
I really admire your work, as you have worked in many different roles, ranging from pre-sales, HR to customer engagement. Over the years, I have also took some commerce courses related to organizational behaviors, HR, and marketing. I think it's really important for our commerce students to apply theoretical knowledge to a broader audience, to a workplace situation. Moving on, let's talk about your current job in tech. Can you please explain your current role in tech and what you like most about your role?
Yeah, happily. So my current role in technology, as you mentioned, is a business solutions lead for customer success. So back in 2019, I worked on selecting, configuring, and implementing a solution for customer success, effectively to help some of our customer-facing roles manage engagement with customers post-sale. And my current role is still focused on customer success. So I work on assessing new business requirements and defining functional specifications to address business challenges that are related to customers achieving success effectively. And I think the second part of the question was kind of what do I like best about my role?
Yeah.
I think, firstly, my team. So we have a team that's very diverse in terms of background, previous work experience, and locations, which I think brings a lot to the team, and is part of kind of why I enjoy the work that I do. And number two would be sort of variety. So I mean, you maybe can tell by the number of sort of roles I've done at SAP, I quite like learning new areas and being able to kind of experience quite a lot. So in the current role that I'm in, I have the opportunity to do a lot of different things. So working with the business on defining business processes that will allow SAP to help our customers be successful. I also get stuck in, so I do some configuration of functionality or process within the solution. I'm involved in writing kind of release notes and communications as they relate to sort of change management. I might even deal with support tickets. We work with a third-party vendor, so I might work with them on product innovations as well. And actually right now we're working on a user experience initiative where we're engaging sort of about 10 champion end users. So basically, I think what I enjoy the most is the variety. So having that variety in my day-to-day keeps things interesting for me, because it allows me to continuously learn and hopefully add value. So I like that ability to kind of do different roles within the one role that I have.
Yeah, I agree. On the customer side, in the tech industry nowadays are also very important. And I also like to, I'm enjoyed in working in a team setting as well.
Yeah.
So now can you share an example or two things that you have done in tech that you are particularly proud of?
Okay, yeah, I think, so when I went to do a fellowship as a business analyst, one of the projects that I worked on was commercialization of a product. So getting that product onto the SAP price list, which is no easy thing to do at SAP. So that commercialization is probably one of my proudest achievements because it was something that I'd never done before. And it involved kind of going into every aspect of technology. So the product itself, the pricing, commercials, marketing, enablement, support. I got the kind of full end-to-end experience, and it was a real challenge. And I think I learned a lot from doing it. So that might be number one. And number two would be, I'm quite proud that I've gone from working in pre-sales, in which I was demonstrating to customers, to being in a role where I was doing that assessment of a solution and kind of on the other side of the table. So I can see things from both sides, and have had that experience. So that's another one. And I think lastly, quite a few years ago, when we just started, we started a UK business women's network in the UK. And I led with a couple of my colleagues that kind of initiative. And I think one of the things we did was host and design kind of a Women in IT Day. And we heard from individuals that were successful both inside and outside IT, and the challenges that they had overcome. I think one of the speakers we had was the first female to be appointed a circuit judge in the UK. But we got really positive feedback from it, from that opportunity, and we had lots of people attending, and it really felt like it started to build a sense of community amongst women at SAP in the UK. So those three things, I think, to pick a few, are three things that I'm proud of having done.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. What's a lesson that you learned along your career journey that you'd like to share?
I think that my biggest learning, I think, because you can kind of see from my career path that it was slightly coincidental that I ended up in tech, but there are lots of careers in technology or IT that you just don't know about when you're at university or before you start working. When I was at university, I had no idea that there were such a breadth of roles available in technology. And I honestly can say I didn't know what pre-sales or solution consulting was as a career path. And so my hope is that these sorts of initiatives, our conversations, can help women become more aware of what's possible. And I think the other thing is that large companies have so many career options, but it can be quite multi-layered. So I started working out in the UK, as I mentioned, but you can then start to work at a regional level or a global level where you can contribute a bit more to defining and executing strategy. So I think, as well as thinking about what field you want to go into, you could also think about what layer of the organization you want to contribute to. I think those were the things that I have definitely learned that I wish someone had told me before I embarked on a career in technology.
Thank you. Since this series targets towards STEM students and younger women who share a common interest in tech, if you think about a new hire you enjoyed working with, what are some of their characteristics that come to your mind?
I think it's a difficult question because there are probably lots of characteristics that are sort of generally successful people have. But I think in technology in particular, change is a constant. So, it's someone that likes to continuously learn and enjoys the process of learning is probably quite important. I don't think it's like you can study at university a particular topic and then have a career in technology and never have to learn something new again, right? So in fact, it's quite the opposite. So you have to kind of want to continue learning throughout your career. You also have to be, for that reason, I think, quite adaptable to trying out new techniques and new scenarios, or thinking of new ways to solve problems, because technology is changing all the time. And I think if I go back to like my days in pre-sales, I would say empathy. So if you're working with customers, you need to be able to understand the business problems that you're trying to solve by putting yourself in their shoes and understanding what they need. So being able to kind of proactively listen and absorb that information. And lastly, sort of communication. So again, if you're in a customer-facing role in technology, it's crucial that you can communicate the value of solutions, right, in the context of how they can solve business challenges that our customers have. And I always remember one of my previous managers used to ask me the question, so what? So when you're talking about the benefits that technology can bring, that has kind of stuck with me. So being able to communicate and put yourself in the customer's shoes, I think, are also two quite crucial characteristics that I think someone that's looking for a career in technology should have.
Thank you. I think for tech professionals, the mindset of being a lifelong learner is really important.
Yeah.
One final question. Do you have any career advice for girls and younger women who want to land a job in the ICT sector?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So I think, firstly, just don't limit yourself or assume that because you're not techie or you don't know how to program or code or you didn't study IT at university that you can't be successful in a role in technology. There are countless opportunities within tech that you can be successful at. And if anything, I think experience in other areas can make you unique as a candidate, because it shows a variety of backgrounds and disciplines which can help your career in tech to progress. And secondly, one thing that I learned, I think, over time was that you don't need to know the answer to every single thing. So particularly in front of customers, I think I got quite fixated on being the expert about the product and being able to answer every single question that a customer had. And I think if someone asks you a question, if a customer asks you a question, instead of just saying yes, it's better to say that you're not sure, but you'll follow up. and obviously ensure that you do that follow-up, because that's how you build trust in that kind of customer relationship. I think I definitely learned that after some time. And I guess finally, which is probably a more general point, I would say from my own experience, don't be concerned if you don't have a linear or very defined career path in mind. My advice would be to throw yourself into as many opportunities as possible so that you can learn different roles in different areas, because you'll meet new people, and that will help you narrow down kind of that list and figure out what you value and what you enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis. That's definitely what I've done over my career, and I've found huge benefit from it. So yeah, those would be my 3 pieces of advice.
Thank you so much. I'm sure that the viewers that are watching would definitely take your advice. Do you have any other questions for me?
I do, yeah. Well, thank you, Marina, for the opportunity for me to share a bit about my journey. And so I would definitely like to hear from you and hear about your journey so far. So the first question I wanted to ask you was the same question you asked me. So how did you get into technology, and what do you enjoy about it?
Well, I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's degrees from Queen's Commerce and studying the field of operations management. In my second year of university, I took a course on digital business and technologies, where it offered me a chance to examine how digital technologies, processes, data, and people interact within the information systems. We also did an SAP Salesforce simulation to explore integrated capabilities provided by ERP systems. That course further stimulated my interest in technology. Therefore, I decided to land a career in ICT after graduation.
That sounds great. And what do you like most about it?
Yeah, you see, I didn't intentionally break into the technology, but I'm pretty impressed by the impact of technologies. Nowadays, technology really plays a huge role in the ever-changing business environment, as IT collaborates with almost every aspect of business function, ranging from accounting and operations to HR and supply chain management. For example, the rapid development of the gig economy has been driven by the advancement of technology platforms, diversified employment contexts, and customers' consumption patterns during the coronavirus setting. Technology has succeeded in creating hundreds of thousands of occupations for independent contractors like Foodora couriers. Given the creation of the employment opportunities, on the other hand, people should also take deep consideration of issues such as the treatment and the legislative rights of these freelance workers.
Yeah, really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you already know quite a bit about SAP from doing your simulation, and I couldn't agree with you more. Obviously, technology is pervasive, I think, in all of our lives now. So what's something that you've done in or with technology that you're particularly excited about or proud of?
Yeah, so last November, I was selected as a delegate to attend the Sales Summit and participate in a sales pitch competition sponsored by IBM. Regarding the competition, my team members and I were asked to develop a strategic marketing plan to promote IBM Watson hybrid cloud solutions to public service providers across government and public sectors. First of all, it was a bit challenging for me at first, since it was the first time for me to get involved in a sales competition geared towards the needs of tech users. Yeah, that's a bit normal. I still remember that my team members and I did a lot of research on functionalities of the IBM Watson IoT systems and their cloud strategies prior to the presentation. Through our discussion, we decided to take transportation issues in Alberta as a starting point and propose a detailed sales plan targeting towards the Alberta Ministry of Transportation. For example, the IBM Watson technical solutions can be used to collect data from the post-outrage data and produce predictive analytics to prevent future outrage happen in Alberta. So with our joint efforts, we were awarded first place in the competition, and I'm really proud of our mutual accomplishment.
Yeah, well, congratulations on getting first place. It sounds like you've already had
a
good experience in sort of pre-sales and sales and planning for that pitch. So that's really great to hear. And so based on that, you've had that one experience. So what are your plans or next steps in technology? Can we tempt you into the world of pre-sales perhaps? Is there a particular project that you're going to work on or any further studies you're planning to do?
Yeah, cause solution consulting is something that I would like to do after graduation because I have always been passionate about work tasks that offer me opportunities to share strategic advice while building long-term relationships with clients.
Yeah.
To consolidate my relevant knowledge in tech, I would like to learn some coding languages such as Passion and Java, and also take a few electives on computer science in my third and fourth years.
Cool. Wow, that sounds really, really good. And I guess last question then, do you have any messages for other young women in technology, or maybe not so such young women in technology, companies or academic organizations that you'd want to share? Give you an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, of course, that's a great question. In my opinion, I believe that pursuing your passion is really important. When it comes to females' employment condition in the ICT industry, many people's first reaction would be, well, this is a male-dominated industry. Women may not have as many career choices as male candidates. But perceptions like that are not entirely true in real sense. Aside from male contributors in the ICT industry, women today also serve as a critical innovation force behind the rapid development of technology. Women also possess great potential in the field of IT, ICT, and they are fully qualified to take on leadership roles in this industry. My second advice for young women in tech is to network with as many people as you can. You can either have a coffee chat in person or easily book a virtual meeting to connect with alumni or industry professionals who are more experienced or knowledgeable so that you can learn more about career insights and potential job opportunities in the tech industry.
That's great. That's really good advice. And I couldn't agree with you more on your first point about women being more than capable in leadership positions in IT. I have definitely experienced that in my time as well. So thank you for answering my questions. And I think I'll hand it back over to you to wrap up.
Thank you. That wraps up our session today for Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. Thank you so much, Annika. I really enjoyed our chat today. Thanks so much to our viewers for watching.
Thank you.